all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and happy Friday to you. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 8th of May. The total number of COVID-19 cases in India has probably crossed 53,000 yesterday. As per the Health Ministry's 8 a.m. update yesterday morning, there were 3,561 new cases, which took the tally of total infections to 52,952. Maharashtra continues to be the state with the highest number of cases on account of the hotspot in Mumbai. And speaking of Mumbai, the municipal corporation here has reserved 3,343 rooms in 88 hotels in the city to quarantine Indians who were stranded across the world and who will be brought back in phases by special aircraft. Meanwhile, to contain the spread of the coronavirus in Surat, the city's civic authorities have announced that all shops selling vegetables and fruits will remain closed in the city from the 9th to the 14th of May. The announcement came a day after the Ahmedabad civic authorities ordered closure of all shops except those selling milk and medicines for a week. Former Reserve Bank of India Governor Raghuram Rajan has weighed in on the debate over whether the Indian Central Bank should monetize the government's additional financing requirements amid the COVID-19 crisis. In a note posted on his LinkedIn account, he wrote that monetization would neither be a game changer nor a catastrophe. And at a time like this, the government should be concerned about protecting the health of the economy and should spend what's needed. In corporate news, Reliance Industries is considering selling its stake in Asian Paints, which is valued at about 7,500 crore rupees, as the conglomerate steps up efforts to trim its debt. The company is in discussions with banks for a possible stake of its 4.9% stake in Asian Paints through a series of block deals. That's a Bloomberg story. Welspun Corporation has said that it has agreed to acquire a highway toll project from SL Group as it attempts to boost its order book. Its subsidiary Welspun Enterprises will acquire a build, operate, transfer toll project from Mukarba Chowk Panipat toll roads through harmonious substitution, where lenders to an incomplete project can transfer it to another company. In a statement, Welspun Enterprises said that the National Highways Authority of India and the project's lenders have approved the deal. In the banking space, Yes Bank is looking to raise up to 15,000 crore rupees by the 30th of June, according to Prashant Kumar, Chief Executive Officer of the bank, who spoke to Bloomberg Quint. The bank will try to raise the entire amount in one tranche if the market allows it, he said. Remember, the bank is still falling short of its regulatory capital requirements. Its Common Equity Tier 1 or CET1 ratio is at 6.3% and that should be at least 7.375%. Now, the capital markets regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has asked Franklin Templeton Mutual Fund to focus on returning money to investors at the earliest. The SEBI was reacting to comments by the AMC's management that a change in norms by the SEBI was a factor behind closing the 6 debt schemes that it closed a short while back. The regulator said that some mutual fund schemes continued to invest in high-risk and opaque debt securities despite the regulatory framework having been reviewed and amended in order to safeguard investors' interest after credit risk events noticed since September of 2018. And that changes in the norms were recommended by a mutual fund advisory committee that included Franklin Templeton's India president. In other news, India is taking its first baby steps to tackle a growing offshore market for its currency. 2 exchanges, which is India International Exchange and NSE IFSC Limited, will today begin trading foreign exchange settled rupee derivatives as part of a push to bring the market back home. For more details, do look up the story on the website bloombergquint.com. In international markets, the early risers in the Asia-Pacific region are trading positive after a strong close on Wall Street. So it looks like it could be a positive close to the week for the Indian markets. To tell you all about that, here's Agam Vakil. Good morning, Agam. How are we looking today?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners, and a very happy Friday to you all. The strength at open in Asia reflects on the SGX 50, and we are likely to start higher this morning. Once again, we start with earnings. In terms of stocks and news, we have RBL Bank, where its net interest income has risen 38% year on year, slightly higher than expectations, but its profit declined 54% on account of higher provisioning. We have ICICI Securities, where revenues rose 12.5% and net profit rose 28%, with a bulk of strength coming in from the retail equities segment. IT major Cyient has reported a 3.8% decline in dollar revenues at $149 million, but its margins contracted quite substantially to 4.2% versus 9.5%. We will be watching out for earnings from Shree Cement, Adani Gas, and SBI Cards and Payment Services today. Moving on, Reliance Industries is considering selling its stake in Asian Paints, valued at $989 million, as the conglomerate steps up its efforts to trim its debt, said people familiar with the matter, reports Bloomberg. The company is in discussions with banks for a potential stake sale of its 4.9% equity in Asian Paints. Tata Motors has withdrawn its NCD issue of 1,000 crores in view of the higher cost expectations from market participants due to the tight money market conditions. The company says it has sufficient liquidity and would consider issuance of NCDs at appropriate time and under normalized market conditions with necessary approvals. Zydus Cadila has also received a final approval from the US FDA for its Deferasirox tablets for oral suspension. It is used to treat iron overload caused by blood transfusions. We have Eicher Motors, where its VE commercial vehicle segment has received the required government permissions to restart operations in 6 of its plants located in Pithampur, Devas, Thane and Bagar. And finally, GMR Infra has clarified that none of its group companies have approached banks for restructuring of loans, and State Bank of India is not the largest lender to the group. Now, these are just some of the stocks that you can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great weekend.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.